Wow, that makes me remember when I used to have hair and a clean face and I was young. But hi, everybody. Thanks. Great to see you all here. I'm here with Alan Kohili, a executive vice president at SkillStorm. And I want to talk to you about why we're here. So, I work a lot in the transition space. Everybody knows it's dialed in. And one of the biggest answers I get when I talk to people about what they want to do is they say, I want to go into cyber or I want to go into IT. And I kind of look at them like, that's an industry, not a specific job. And they look at me with like, oh my God, what? I'm like, yeah, like cyber is not a job. IT is not a job. It's an entire industry. What do you want to do in that field? And they get confused and they say, I'm going to go to a boot camp. I'm like, well, what job is the boot camp preparing you for? And they can't answer that. And so, that's why, Alan, I'm excited to welcome you today. For those of you who don't know, like I said, Alan is a executive vice president at SkillStorm, and they actually have incredible training programs for careers in cyber and IT. So before we go over to Alan, hey, let us know where you're dialing in from, and if you're looking for a career in cyber or IT, and we can get back to you, we'll be engaged over the course of time. So Alan, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mike. It's great to be here. I love seeing your Christmas tree still up there, keeping the holiday spirit going.
Yeah. I mean, so funny story for everyone. I was in Hawaii last week and I missed the Christmas tree pickup date. And so what I did was I decided to, I'm just going to leave it up until the next Christmas pickup date. And it's not next year. It'll be in the next week or so, but I like having the holiday spirit there. So
that's great. It makes me feel like I'm still in Christmas time a little bit. It's bad when you switch over to January 2nd, come back into the office.
There you go. So Alan, I guess let's start off first before we get into the different paths people can take in, IT or cyber. Can you talk a little bit about what SkillStorm is?
Yeah, Mike, sure. So SkillStorm has been around quite a while. We've been around since 2002, but recently we've really beefed up what we do with veterans over the last 5 years. In fact, I've been here 4.5 years, and we really started about 4 years ago to work more and more with veterans. We want to be the global leader in launching and accelerating tech careers. So that's a big statement. There's a lot going on there, but let's focus on what we do that really helps all the folks who are transitioning service members or current veterans. So we talk about a pathway. We want to help transitioning service members get into the tech field, and we have a pathway to do that. We can start all the way back with while you're in the service, using your CA to take some cool courses with us that are online. They are led by an instructor and they lead to certifications. Those are great. The IT field, cyber field runs on certifications. You have to have certs to move up. Then we move into when you're getting ready to transition out, we have a great skill bridge program that is also a vet tech program. And if you're familiar with vet tech, you can do vet tech as a skill bridge, and that's what we do. So we serve both the folks transitioning through skill bridge and veterans who've been out with these courses. They're intense 16-week training courses. It's just like a job. You're in class 40 hours a week, but you're going to learn you're going to get a lot more than just a certification there. We're going to teach you how to work in the industry. We're going to teach you about the industry. We're going to teach you what it's like to be in those large system integrator companies. Our folks are in demand when they come out. And then when you get out of that, we have yet a third step called Tech Force. And Tech Force is something we do with military and non-military alike to train people in specialized technologies that our clients are looking for, place them in Fortune 500 companies, and really kick off their tech career. So it can be a long process, but you can jump into that at different points. You don't have to have taken the cool courses in order to come into the vet tech program, but it is a nice pathway that you can start on while you're still serving.
No, I love it. I mean, so if I'm hearing correctly, there's 3 different jumping points that they can really get into the program. If you're Army or Air Force and you're eligible for cool or credentialing assistance money, then you can sign up for cool courses and start your journey to a tech or cyber career. I know we're going to get into the different paths in a few minutes while you're on cool. If you don't get to it in time or you want to continue going and there's funding for it, there's the Vet Tech program, which is for veterans. And that's the 40-hour a week, like real hardcore instruction, but you're going to get them ramped up real quick to get employment. And then if you still want to continue progressing, you've got this immersive Tech Force program where you pay.
And I should mention,
right?
Tech Force, when you go into Tech Force, you're our employee. We hire you into Tech Force. So you're getting paid. You're getting paid to study then. It's not
right.
We don't do anything that costs service members out of their pocket. Of course, you can use the CA funding for the cool courses. Vet Tech is funded, and of course, SkillBridge funded also. So if you get through those, and we decide to hire you at SkillStorm, that's when you're in Tech Force, and we're actually paying you for training, and then paying you even more when we place you with our clients. So it is 3 steps, and I'll say you can also jump off at any of those points.
Right.
There's a possibility of getting a great job with certs that you get through our cool program. There's great possibilities, and we have lots of folks who go through the Vet Tech program get hired. In fact, we have almost 30 hiring partners that work with us and are waiting for our Vet Tech people to graduate to interview them and offer them positions.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to go through all 3.
Right. Well, one of the things I really loved that you mentioned was that you guys were or are a preferred provider for Vet Tech.
Absolutely.
So can you talk about that?
Yeah. As I said, our purpose is to accelerate tech careers, accelerate opportunity. We're not in this just to give classes and certificates. We're all about employment. So if you're a preferred provider for Vet Tech, that means that we're not going to take any money for our training if that veteran doesn't get a job within 6 months of completing our program. So in order for us to get paid, you have to get a job, meaningful employment in the tech industry. If not, they give us a little money as you start, and halfway through, we have to give it back if you don't get employed. So we wanted to do that because we want to make sure everybody understands we're not here just to make money for giving courses. We're here to help people get jobs.
Yep. Honestly, people that know me know, when I heard there was a difference between a preferred provider and just a provider, I was like, why did they do that? Every single provider should be a preferred provider because there's too many programs out here that will train the heck out of you, and there's no follow-up. And that includes some of the universities out there. Like, there's too many education or training or programs out there that will do the training, but will not follow up to make sure they get them a job. You guys are kind of like, you've put your pocket, you put your reputation and your funding on the line to get them the job. So I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. I spent 20 years in higher education before I moved over to this field. And I can tell you, this kind of training and this kind of certification and job program, workforce development, really, if you want to call it that, I think it's the future. I think a lot of people are going to think twice about whether it's a college degree. And no problem with people going to college. My daughter just graduated. I'm very proud. But, you don't have to. There are other ways into great careers. And I do want to say about our program and how it differs from others. I'm not going to talk about any other specific programs, but I know that you can do a SkillBridge where somebody's going to put you on a self-paced online course. And, that's not what we do. And we have to talk to the folks who are interested in what we're doing, a good bit about, look, this is like a job. We even have a minimum number of days you can miss because we're moving fast through material. Yeah. And especially if you don't have a tech background, it's not that, it takes hard work to pick this up. So we always say, look, this may not be the right program.
Right.
If you're not into being at a job really for your SkillBridge, maybe we're not right.
Right.
So it is something to think about because it is rigorous, but it is instructor led. You're talking to that instructor 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And we believe that's the way you're going to be successful in getting certifications and really learning the material.
Yep. I'm not a fan of the self-paced online learning. I don't think that should be a SkillBridge. Personally, I don't think they should exist as SkillBridge because they could do them while they're still doing their job. I think the fact that only a percentage of the force can do skill bridge at any one given time because of manning requirements, I think those should be more rigorously focused on opportunities and training that will lead specifically and directly to employment outcomes. So I think we're on the same page for that. All right, I want to get into the IT cyber domains, but you said 2 words earlier that I think I understand that I would like you to explain. You said the large system integrators.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Because if I don't 100% know, I think I know. I'm sure a lot of my audience doesn't know either.
So I'm pretty old. So back in my day, these were Big 5 accounting firms, right? But that's not what that's not all they do now. Big 4. Yeah, there's a fifth. It's true. It's Big 4. There's a fifth that sometimes gets thrown. But there are clients, and really they're system integrators now. And what's that mean? Well, if I'm a large company, pick a huge retailer, say, and I want to introduce a new technology into thousands of employees, I'm probably not going to try to do that with my own tech team. I'm going to hire a system integrator, and they're going to come in and they're going to scope the project, and they're going to say, okay, we'll do this for you. They contract and they supply the people. Well, we supply the people to the integrators. So the people they're putting on these jobs, many of them are SkillStorm folks. We call them stormers. So there are a lot of stormers working with these large integrators that are then turning around and doing huge tech projects. And I tell you that it's another difference in what we do and what some others do. We do AWS and DevOps, right? We do cloud and DevOps. That's great. We do cyber. When you talk about programming, we do what we call back-end programming. We do all of it, call it full stack. But a lot of these boot camps and things are going to teach you what we call front end. They're going to teach you how to put up a website. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you can make money doing that. But if you want to be a programmer, if you want to be the person who's down in the nuts and bolts, writing the program, solving business problems, and translating it to possibly a website or a different kind of interface, that takes a full stack programmer. And that's what we specialize in. We're teaching more than just the web stuff.
Right.
We're teaching how to build it.
Yeah. No, I love it. So a couple of thoughts. If they were a soldier, you can always call them stormtroopers.
There you go.
I think there's probably going to be some kind of copyright or whatever, but stormtroopers really sounds good. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that before. The other thing is, so let's talk about the different pathways you mentioned. So I see AWS and I think like Amazon.
Right.
Like this is how I order stuff delivered to my house. What does AWS DevOps mean? Like, where is that being used? Like, what kind of careers are available in it? Sorry, I'm getting so animated, but this is awesome because I never thought to ask these questions.
Yeah. So first of all, everybody uses it, right? There's AWS, there's Microsoft Azure. They're the 2 big players, but everybody's using the cloud. There is almost not a company in existence anymore that isn't somehow using the cloud. So bigger companies need their own team that can work on these cloud capabilities, interfaces. So we teach the AWS. You've got 2 big players. We teach AWS. We're pretty agnostic about different types of technology, and I'm not saying we won't someday teach Microsoft also. Might be a teaser there, but right now we're offering AWS. And then the DevOps basically means there's some networking involved here, and a lot of the service members we talk to have worked a little bit in networking. If they've done some IT work in the service, a lot of times it is networking. So they tend to like the AWS DevOps program. We get a lot of folks for it. We offer a couple of those through the cool courses where you can get started and get some certifications. The nice thing about getting the certifications under your belt is that if you then go into our Vet Tech program or even our Tech Force by Design program, you're a little bit ahead. Now there's still a lot you're going to learn because we teach a lot more than just what's going to pass the certification test in those more in-depth programs. But having the certification You're much more likely to pass our screening process. You're much more likely to do well once you're in the program. You're going to be a little ahead. You're not going to have to be studying as much at night to keep up.
Right.
So I can't overemphasize the advantage of using that time in service to get some of these certifications under your belt and then come out that much more prepared.
Yeah.
You talk about tracks. AWS DevOps, that's a great track. You can go through that track and you can be employed for life. You can make a great salary, but you could do certifications in AWS, and then you could do a Java full stack program in VetTech. And you want to talk about being somebody in demand. If you know cloud and you know full stack program development, you just rose up to the top of the class.
Okay, so now you threw a bunch of terms at me that I thought I understood. So let me make sure I understand. AWS is really one of the two major cloud platforms. So like we operate on Teams. A lot of the military operates on Teams. So Teams runs off in Azure. Azure.
Right.
Azure. It's the cloud platform that runs off of, right?
Right.
Which means there's a bunch of computers somewhere that hold all the data.
Right. The cloud's not in the clouds, right? The cloud's in computers.
Yeah. So I've seen some of those data centers. And so AWS is the other major player on there. And so when you're talking about DevOps, you're talking about, all the programming support to make that cloud service work for your company and how you're going to use it.
Exactly. And the networking, because cloud requires networking, right? To really run through the cloud, you've got to tie your systems into other systems. And so that's where, the folks we get from the service who have tech background typically have networking background. So that's a good step. That's a foundation for them. But right. And, a great point about the AWS versus the Microsoft Azure, if you know one, it's not that hard to pick up the other. Most of the time they don't care which one companies are going to hire you if you're going to work in the cloud, and they can teach you the differences. They're not very great. So
Now you said there's the next one was full stack, right? So you have the cloud, so you understand the networking, the cloud, how you integrate with all that stuff, and then you have full stack. Is that writing programs?
That is programming, usually in something like Java. So it's harder, absolutely harder. It takes more to get through the Java full stack. And we don't have as many folks who want to do it, but I can tell you every time we talk to clients, they're very interested in how many people we have with Java background.
Yeah, full stack engineers. I hear it all the time.
And everything's built on these programs, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're doing things in AWS or in cyber, if you know Java, wow, you're very valuable, because you can go in and fix other things. You can get under the hood of the car, right? And change things. And so it's really in demand. I can tell you, just to throw in here, one of the great advantages that most of the folks coming out of the service have is they have a clearance. And when you pair these skills with a clearance, it's great. They're in high demand. Top secret, of course, is in demand, but secret's in demand too. Both clearances are very much in demand with our clients. We do a lot of federal work. We have we work with top secret folks. We can help people get clearances through.
I love it. Okay, so we've got AWS DevOps, which is like cloud integration. We've got full stack, which is development, get into like the program and like fix stuff, change stuff, alter stuff, which any of the two with a clearance is highly marketable. Exactly. Then you say cyber. Is that so? You've said it, and you kind of called me out on it. Is that cybersecurity? Is that like, I don't know. What is cyber when you say cyber?
So I'll explain cyber at a 30,000 foot view, because that's as deep as I can go.
Okay, that's good enough. You can connect. Also, there's people on here that can connect if they have questions. So if you're interested in cyber and you comment cyber, I think there are some SkillStorm people that have dialed in that will be able to see that you're interested and help you figure it out. So go ahead, Alan.
Absolutely. Sorry. So cyber is a great field. You hear about all the job openings in cyber. and you hear about the attacks that happen. We're vastly understaffed in the United States with cybersecurity folks. Now, as you mentioned, cyber is a pretty big umbrella term. There's a lot under cyber, right? So there's really, we offer two different tracks in our vet tech. Now, on the cool side, we offer the service, the Security Plus. You can get that through us. That's the building block for all cyber. No matter what you want to do in cyber, you're going to have to get Security Plus or something related to that. But the way to look at it is there's two types of cyber. There's the cyber that we all think we want to do, which we call pen testing. You might call it red team. You might call it ethical hackers.
That's the cool stuff.
It's the cool. This is the team that's going to go in there and say, let me see if I can figure out how to take our system down. And then I'll go tell them, look, I was able to do this. It's a great field. There is demand for it. There's a lot more demand for the blue team, which are the guys who work in defending our stuff, right? Yeah. If you think about it, there's a lot more need to defend attacks than to simulate attacks to see if we can get in. Yeah. We talked to a federal agency that literally gets attacked more than 1 million times a day. I was flabbergasted when they told me the number of times that they have unauthorized folks trying to access their system. And so both fields, lots of people are going to start on that blue team. And that's our SOC, our cybersecurity SOC program. Both SOC start with Security Plus.
Security Operations Center.
Yeah, SOC analyst. Yeah, that's good. Almost nobody ever says that. You never hear that. It's just SOC. but you're right. And that's the blue team. That's defense. That's making sure that you're in compliance. That's making sure that the network is defended, that people can't get in, and you're watching things, you're reacting to things. Most people are going to start on the blue team. Most red team people are experienced blue team people who switched over, right? But it's great to have the pen testing background. I mean, then they know that's your interest and you might get there a little faster. But almost everybody, even our folks who go through pen testing, are usually going to start on the blue team. The red team is more experienced folks, and they're the ones who start playing with how could I break in.
Yep.
Tons of roles under there. I couldn't even tell you all the roles. Great earning potential. Now with all of these, you're starting off pretty much entry level, unless you happen to have had experience in the military that we can show as real experience, and you might move up to a junior position or a mid-level position. But the pay is still pretty good. You're still looking at probably 60 to 70 the first couple of years. Right, and then you're going to move up pretty fast. You get a few years of experience, and that pay opens up. Now, if you throw a top secret clearance on top of that, you're going to be getting more. And I would just be guessing if I tried to tell you exactly how much more, but you're going to make more if you have the clearance on top of it.
That makes and you are open to jobs in the government, because if you're not working for the government, the clearance doesn't mean as much.
Hopefully you like the Northern Virginia, DC area.
It's
not the only area, but it's the biggest.
That's a great point. So, and that makes a lot of sense when you think about it. You only need one pen tester really to kind of like probe multiple companies, and you need like legions of security people to constantly be thinking, how could they get in, review, analyze, run reports, updates, all that stuff. So I could kind of see that. So we've got AWS DevOps, we've got cyber, which will be cybersecurity. Is there a pathway to become like a pen tester through you guys as well?
Yeah, we do have the pen test track. And again, experience comes. If you have some experience, you may be more likely to grab a pen test job right out.
Right.
But if you think I want to do that, definitely. That's great. You may have to start on the blue hat side. You may have to start on the SOC analyst side, but you can get to the pen testing side, and it's great to have the pen test background, the pen test plus certification. That's going to help you get there. But I just don't want to guarantee people, hey, you take our pen test, I know you're going to be on red team. No, I don't. I don't know that.
And I think one of the big parts of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're, for the most part, offering training, so like if you're offering the training through the vet tech program, or you're offering the training through your tech force program, that means you, for the most part, have partner companies already lined up that are looking to hire from those roles, right? Because it doesn't make sense for you to train these people and pay them, or train them and put your pay on the line if there aren't roles for them to go into. So that's something that I like.
Yeah, we have about 100 folks in vet tech training right now, and a big job fair coming up next week where 15 companies will be meeting with all of them. They're all 4 to 5 weeks from finishing the program. Yeah. The companies are lining up to talk to them, and I mean that's. Let me address this. You may have heard that hiring's down in tech. It's not what it used to be, and there's some truth to that. But I can tell you that we're seeing a lot of demand still for veterans and for cleared resources. So, we're able to place people because we have clients and we get contracts to place them, right? And we know the jobs are there. But I think this population has a good chance of still being in pretty high demand in the tech industry.
Awesome. I mean, I love it. And again, there's a financial incentive. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad way, but like if you're training people and the payments on the line, or if you're paying someone to train them and it's on the line, like there's a financial incentive to get the placement in there, to get them employed. And I don't see that from a lot of the other programs. So I'm a big supporter of that. For me, I don't want someone to go through a bunch of training and not have like a career on the back end of that. So are there other pathways we're missing? Like, so we've got AWS DevOps, we've got cyber security or red team pen testing. We've got full stack, Java developers. What else? What else is there?
Well, our end goal, what we'd really love is to employ these folks ourselves at SkillStorm. So when you come to our vet tech program, we're going to give you a chance to interview for the roles that we have open and go into that tech force program. And that could be any kind of technology, because basically we take computer science majors and we train them in new technologies. We train them in the technologies that our clients are looking for. And that could be anything. I mean, we can train in over 80 different technologies.
Right. So, that's really exciting. And I think Justin, your CEO mentioned something about this, where, clients can come to you with, hey, we need 10, 20, 30 people that have this skill set. And you guys will actually design a curriculum that meets that, and then recruit, train, employ, and boom, like they're guaranteed a job when they finish, right? Pretty much as much as
absolutely. In Tech Force, there's no in Tech Force, it's not that you're not going to get a job. You're going to get a job. We don't train unless we have the roles. So if you get through our screening and we bring you into Tech Force, you're going to get employed.
Awesome. So I think we have Olivia just put it up, but hey, if anybody has questions right now that you'd like Alan to ask, I'm going to ask him a couple more. But if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll address them live. So Alan, you said 40 hours a week with an instructor, the training, right? So what is it like? What does a day look like? I'm guessing it's an 8-hour day, Monday to Friday type experience. Is it all remote? So it
is all remote, but it's almost like what you and I are doing right here, Mike. It's you're interacting live with the rest of the class and with the instructor. Now, look, it would be tiring if we had to do this for 8 hours every day. There's time where you're working on projects.
Yeah.
There's time where you're working on your own or in a team. We stress a lot of team projects. It's very important to our clients that are the folks we turn out be able to work in teams. If you've heard about agile teams in tech, it's all built around teams interfacing. You really can't be the person who just wants to sit at their computer and not talk to anybody all day in tech anymore. It doesn't work like that. The most valuable people are those folks who can be consultants, who can go sit down, talk about business problems, go back to their computer and come up with a solution. So we have a lot of interaction. It's not just I'm going to be lectured to for 8 hours a day. There's some lecture, a lot of interaction with the instructor, a lot of class project
Yep.
work.
No, I love it. And I'm glad you said agile, because I remember when we talked in the pre-show, there's some kind of a tech PM track or something like that.
Yeah, that's we have two different project management tracks now. You can do through Cool, you can do the PMP or the CompTIA Project Plus. The difference in those, the PMP is, of course, the industry standard for general project management. Project Plus is all aimed towards tech project management. We've just started offering the PMP, and I think it's fine. There's a lot of folks I know who want to do project management, and they're not sure what field.
Yeah.
But let me do this as quickly as I can. There's something in project management called the T-shaped skills, right? They want you to have great breadth of project management skill, but they'd like you to have some technology skill too, right? And so if you got the PMP and got some certifications in technologies with us, you'd be a very valuable person on the job market, because I actually did that backwards. You have the depth of knowledge in project management and technology. They don't have to send somebody with you to meetings to translate.
Yeah.
You understand the technology you're managing. And so there's a lot of demand in project management now for people to have technical skills in addition to the project management skills.
Yeah, no, for people that follow me, they know nothing drives me nuts more than the marketing scheme that is every service member is a project manager. Like, that's not the case. I like to say that you have the leadership skills that could be relevant to project management. But whenever you talk about being a project manager, there needs to be an industry assigned. Like, you can't be, a tech PM and also be a construction PM. I guess you could, but like, I'm not going to hire the person that's doing running my AWS project to go build a house. And you're probably not going to hire the guy that's running the remodeling your bathroom project to do your full stack. So one of the big things I tell people, and I never thought about this till you brought it up, is that, you're not just a project manager. What do you want to be a project manager? What industry? And what industry do you have experience in? And so, yeah, that's right. If you could take that leadership, that PM framework, and then pull in some of the tech skills, the knowledge, experience, I think you become so much more marketable.
Absolutely. A PMP with certificates in AWS being great demand. There's tons of cloud projects. There's always projects in cloud because you're always tying somebody else into this.
Yep.
And so it'd be a great way to go for a career.
So before we wrap this up, I got a couple questions here, Alan. So Mackenzie Beeman said, are there any opportunities for military spouses?
Absolutely. I'm glad that question came up, because we're really happy that we've recently partnered with MyCAA. And so almost just like the Cool program for service members, we work with spouses through MyCAA. They can take our Cool courses. We also like to hire spouses in Tech Force, and we do have some remote positions. So we're always looking for those spouses who have a tech background.
Wow. So if they have any kind of tech background, maybe they've gone through some training or whatever, then they could apply for the Tech Force by Design. And then you guys will pay them while they go through training and then deploy them.
Absolutely. You're a stormer. You're hired by SkillStorm when you come through Tech Force by Design.
I really so much wanted to be a stormtrooper. But a stormer. I like that too. We've got Eugene Hayes saying there's no in-person classes. I'm putting my classes.
That's an interesting development. There are not now in-person classes, although we would consider doing an in-person class on a military installation if we had enough demand, and we're interested in that. We are talking to folks about that at some different bases, but it's a positive outcome of COVID, I guess. We did all in-person classes. COVID hit. We had to move all of our instruction online. It worked beautifully. Yeah. And it meant that we didn't have to worry about folks relocating twice. Like, you might have to relocate for training, and then we might put you on a job that's in the state of Washington, and
Right.
have to relocate again. So it's really worked out well for us to not have in-person classes.
Yeah, and so if a senior military leader wanted to bring, you know, an in-person class to get their people trained up to their installation or their large organization, then somebody from them can reach out to you guys and you could talk about how they can make that work.
Absolutely. We have had some discussions, and I do think this year that'll happen at least once or twice.
I mean, I would love to see more leaders engaged in giving their transitioning service members a meaningful career on the back end. So I've got another one from William Carlo. He said, I'm a full-time employee. How would the program work for me? So is it possible to be a full-time employee and do vet tech or tech by design?
So you wouldn't at all in Tech Force by Design because we're going to hire you. You'll be our employee. So
there you go, William.
But if you wanted to do vet tech, unfortunately, that's one of the reasons some folks don't take our program, because it's impossible to be a full-time employee and do our 40-hour-a-week vet tech program.
I mean, unless they had night work. I mean, I worked 80 hours a week most of my military career.
They did weekends and nights.
You know,
I tell you, it would be, but yeah, they still have to. They do have to commit to the schedule. So that is a demanding part of our program.
So they should, you know, maybe get a few certs and then or just practice, get some tech experience, and then apply for the Tech Force by Design.
Yeah. And if you do the vet tech part, if you're a veteran working full time and you do the vet tech part, and if you had to give up your job, it's not a lot of money, but you would get some money from the VA while you're in the program. You have to have one day of GI benefits left in order to qualify to use the vet tech funds.
I love it. So we've got Oscar saying, when are you expecting the VA to get more funding for the vet tech program?
Boy, if I knew that. I expect that it will be after April, because the pilot year, the last year of the pilot runs through April, and there's not going to be any more funding for the pilot. What we all need to do is write our senators and tell them to hurry up and pass this. It's passed the House. It's sitting in the Senate. The Senate has to pass it. The faster that happens, the faster we'll get new vet tech funding.
I'll mention it next week.
Thank you.
Not that I have that much pull. And then we've got this guy, John Tansil. I don't know who he is, but John says, what is Upskill Together and Stormer for Life?
So let's start with Stormer for Life. If you come through our vet tech program and graduate and get a job in tech, you can take any of the online courses we mentioned that are part of Cool, but we have more than is approved by Cool. You can take any of them for free for life. Anything we offer as an online course, if you've gone through our vet tech program and successfully gotten a job in tech, then they're all open to you for life. You can take those courses. Same thing for our Tech Force by Design folks. Once they've come through our program, all of our online courses are free and offered for all of them. Now, Upskill Together for the military is really interesting. Thanks, John, for bringing that up. If you're active duty and you take one of our Cool courses, you take a course through Cool at SkillStorm, your spouse or dependent can take a course for free, and they can take any of the courses we offer. We've had a soldier and his wife both in a course. So anybody who goes through our course, their spouse or dependent can take a free course.
All right, so hold on, let me check this out. Sorry, I'm getting excited now. So I'm still in, and I decided to use you guys to go after PMP, Security Plus, whatever, and I use Cool to pay for it. And I know it's a pain in the butt depending on which service. If they're not sure how to do it, they can reach out to you or anybody on here, or just say, I need help, and somebody will reach out. But so I'm married. I'm not right now, but I'm married. I'm a service member. I take Cool for one of these courses. My spouse can take the same course with me, or she could sign up for any of the other courses and take it for free.
So you can take the course for free. Absolutely. Typically, it needs to be after you've taken it, because you have to have done our program.
Well, I'm okay with that.
But yes, they get free, and it can be a spouse or a dependent. If you have a college student who needs some tech skills, they could take a course for free.
Wow. I love that. That's amazing. So like you could Sec Plus it together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, awesome, Alan. Any last words? Anything you'd like to share? Anything we missed?
No, I appreciate you talking to us today, Mike. It's been great. I hope we have helped some folks out and have some folks who express interest. We just want to make sure that we can help all these folks make a successful transition into the tech industry.
No, I love it, Alan. I appreciate what you all are doing, and I love the focus on results. That's the thing that resonates with me the most. So for anybody dialing in, anybody watching this after the fact, you should still be able to put cyber in there or IT, or can somebody help me? And you'll be able to do that. You can reach out to Alan directly online, right? Via LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yep.
And any of the members of the team that are joining, including John Tansil. If you didn't know, we had him planted in the audience. But no, thank you, Alan. And, really appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye, everyone.